We are here in the Redmen TV studio. We're on the countdown to kick off.
No foreplay there from Ben, was it?
No, Ben does not mess around.
Right in, right out, no messing around.
Yeah, Ben is
2
in
minutes,
charge
that's it.
of the stream here today. He doesn't stand for it. Like we've browbeaten Si and Tom down to the just like if the lads aren't ready to go, we'll just go when they're ready to go. So yeah, we're still late. But yes, thanks to everyone who's joined us live here on YouTube. Yeah, we're going to be doing the team reaction in about 3 minutes time. I can't imagine this team is going to be anything other than the team that was on the field 15 minutes into the match against Leicester. The one that saw Thiago replace James Milner, because I really... Who else is there? You know, Ox could maybe be involved. Shaqiri could be involved. Leighton Clarkson could be involved.
Or not.
Jay Kane could be involved. Nat Phillips could be. Derek Origi might be back. No one knows.
It's just we need to play the same centre halves, I think, is what Jürgen will be thinking.
Yep.
It's just about, look, if Kabak's going to be the guy for the rest of the season, they need to play games. And right now, all we know is that from the new signings and from when all four of them are available, he's been the guy. Because he's the one that's been in the squad. Now, admittedly, Ben Davies went out slightly before the game, didn't he, and stuff like that.
Yeah, the knocks we missed that.
He had that one where Ben Davies was the sub, then Kabak was the sub, wasn't it? So I imagine Kabak's going to be the guy between now and the end of the season. Henderson's the only player who's played with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's annoying because, you know, watching that Leicester game, we were crying out for Jordan Henderson in midfield in that, you know, particularly once it's 1-0. And you don't know how the flow of this game is going to go, whatever. And I'm feeling reasonably confident about it all, regardless of the team that we put out, to be honest. But, you know, that will be vindicated or make me look completely foolish, depending upon how the game actually goes, which is, of course, every game of football. But yeah, there's nothing really more you could do. Shaqiri's probably one. You know, you could.
It's a big game.
It is a big game.
A very talented side who will be well drilled. That's the one thing that Shaqiri lacks, I think, when he plays in the centre of the park for us, is that commitment and that determination to do the dirty side of the game. He's great going forwards. I really like watching him with the ball at his feet, but I always feel we kind of get a little bit overrun when he's in the middle of the park.
If it's him, I'd be all right with him, but I wouldn't want him in the 4-3-3.
Exactly. Have that extra body, 4-1-2-1-2 or diamond, whatever it is. Play one less forward, because then you can put Shaqiri in there for those reasons. I just don't think he relishes that side of the game, which is what you need to do when you play in Liverpool's midfield.
Yeah, and I was just looking at his stats. I don't even know if we've got this connected in a minute, but you know, he's only played 120 minutes of Champions League football for us so far this season. Most of his appearances have come in the Premier League for us. That means nothing. It's, you know, we've got available to us. That's going to be how the team is largely deciding this. But the son to Shaqiri, in that, I think at the moment what we're kind of seeing is, we'll put our best foot forward the best we can, and then Shaqiri's kind of at this point is like, if you have to take Thiago off, then you've got a fella there who can play a few through balls. You know what I mean? Whose job it is to link the forwards a little bit.
It's almost been Shaqiri's problem, hasn't it, throughout his entire Liverpool career, I think, at the moment. And what I mean by that is, every time he's hit a bit of form, it's never quite been in the formation that we want to play.
Yeah.
Like, we ended up playing a 4-2-3-1, and we found him that little bit of a space in the team where he can have a bit of an impact and stuff. And we were playing Salah through the middle. He links up really well with Salah, but he's never really been a like-for-like replacement for what we currently have at the time. So he's never really been a Salah replacement, never really been a Hendo replacement.
He's just to find bits and pieces, really talented footballer. You're right. You know, I always compare him to a bit like what Mahrez is at City, but I think Mahrez is better because at least you know what his best position is, and you could argue that he's on his days as good as anyone in that position. But he's just an example of, he's a really talented footballer, and your squad's good for having him in there. But look, the team is out. I'll send you on packing, Mr. Kisprayjack. Get us, let us know your thoughts on the team as we go through it. But I will, Chris, I'll read it out to you. Let us know your thoughts on this, of course, in the comments. We'll read through some of your best comments and questions and what have you when we're done with this bit. In goal, Alisson Becker.
Yay.
Right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yay. Left back, Andrew Robertson. Centre back pairing, Jordan Henderson. Yay. And Ozan Kabak. It's the team that you would expect. It's Wijnaldum, Jones, Thiago in the middle. Yeah, it is. It is the front three. And the substitutes are as follows. Blimey.
Number order, please, Paul.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely No, can't do that. I'm going to go goalkeepers.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Goalkeepers, great.
Adrian and the return of Quiveen Kelleher to the substitutes bench. Needs a magnet for him. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Okay.
Kostas Tsimikas, Greek Player of the Year. Xherdan Shaqiri.
Yeah.
Divock Origi.
Okay.
Ben Davies. He's back, baby. Back amongst the
Was he
subs.
ever really here?
Was he ever
He's
really
got a
here?
magnet, so that's...
Yes. Reece Williams.
Okay.
Nathaniel Phillips.
Yeah, wow. All the centre halves.
Jake Kane.
Okay.
Good luck. Leighton Clarkson is on there. You can put him
God,
up.
how many subs are there, lad?
Yeah, just a few. Chris Pajak is still here if you just joined us. He's just shifting, sorting through our random pile of players with no magnets. Jake Kane and Nico Williams.
There's another one. I've just put Nico down.
Yeah, 12 subs. I believe that adds up to 12. 2, 4, 6,
Yeah.
8.
Okay.
10.
Decent. We've for the amount of subs we've got, have we still got no options?
Yeah.
I'd bring him on, maybe, and I'd maybe bring him on 2 of 12. Okay, great. Anyway, decide. Yeah, so we've got it out. It's exactly what we predicted in the start 11 predictions, what everybody sort of said that they expected Jürgen to do. It's not what everybody would have done, but it is what everybody expected Jürgen to do. Makes perfect sense. We spoke about it before. Henderson and Kabak have played together now. They had a really good 75 minutes together. The last 15 not so good, but a little bit to do with Alisson's fault. Anyway, if he fucks up, we've got 2 keepers that we can bring in tonight, Kelleher and Adrian. Midfield makes sense, doesn't it? Wijnaldum, Jones, Thiago. No James Milner, which is obviously a big one, which we knew. No Naby Keita, although he is back in training, which we knew. And then the front 3. Hopefully a little bit of rhythm, Paul. You know, a little bit of an elite mentality to forget that last 15 minutes of Leicester, and a little bit more of what we saw in that first 75.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, again, Liverpool, the onus on Liverpool in the coming games is to prove that they are the good performances they've put in less than good results. Are indicative of them getting a better grip on things. Starts with today. We got a super chat in, Chris. You want to come? Yeah, come and have a sit back down. We'll have a chat. We had a super chat in, Chris, from Jason Green for £49.99. I know, like. Thank you so much. You absolute hero. I don't think we got the sound set up. I'll just go.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jason Green.
Jason, you superstar.
You are the best of us.
Come on, lads. The post-match show's helping me at the minute. Keep going, you legends. Thank you so much.
I think he was going for $4.99 and pressed that extra 9.
Yeah, let us know. You can have it back if you want. It's fine. But no, thank you so much. If anyone's got any questions, get them in. What I'm going to say, actually, and it's actually rapid fires asking this. I'm going to lay this on the line. I'm not asked about these notions, these shithouse notions of freedom of speech. If you write Klopp out in the comments, you are being kicked from the chat. It's as simple as that, and that is the rules from now on until the point that he actually becomes crap, and then we can have a fair debate about it, but that is not now. So what I mean is I'll warn you, because there'll be lots of people who are doing it ironically, and that's funny. It's the funniest joke you could ever have. Just save yourself getting a ban. So yeah, if you want to put it in, fine, but you'll be enjoying this show without the ability to comment is what I'm saying. Right, blimey. That's what's as good a team as we can put out, really, isn't it, Chris? Anything else leaves you with big question marks over Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. It leaves you with big question marks over Ben Davies. It leaves you with big question marks over Divock or Xherdan Shaqiri. So it's not the most interesting of ways to pick this apart, but Liverpool just need to go again. We'll worry about the derby at the weekend. Yeah. Try and pick up where we left off from 75 minutes at Leicester and see if we can go one better tonight.
Yeah, there was loads of positives to be taken from that performance. You know, we were much the better side for 75 minutes, and I know it's a results business. I get that. But that's not what Klopp's telling the lads. Klopp's telling the lads that if you'd have just continued that, if you hadn't have lost focus, if you hadn't have made mistakes, Alisson Becker were all looking at you, then you would have won that game. And if we keep on winning and if we keep on the performance levels, keep up the performance levels, we'll win more than we lose. We will. And this side's got that ability. They've got goals in them. No matter how we're feeling as fans, and they'll think of this as a new competition that they can go and put a stamp on.
Yeah.
And they can go and put a marker down. And we won't take RB Leipzig lightly, because we know that they got trounced by Manchester United and then they trounced them back.
Yeah.
So they've got ability in that side. And we know how well they're doing in the Bundesliga this season. We know how good their players are. So we can't take this game lightly. And if you want to win a trophy this season, lads, you're going to have to step up in this competition, because it's the last one you can win one in.
Yeah, absolutely. God, yeah, definitely. Craig Beckley asks, can someone please explain why does Gini play every minute of every single game, even though he's been so average? I don't know why we don't play Phillips but Hendo in the 6. Well, short answer to that question in the way that it's phrased. Gini Wijnaldum plays every minute of every game for a number of reasons. He's dead good at footy. And he's very rarely, if ever, injured. So but that doesn't stop it being true up until this point. He plays all these games because he's been available to play in them. That's as simple. Look at everyone else. Everyone else has had an injury this season, which means he's probably due because we've run him into the ground. But I don't buy into this. He's not very good either, to be perfectly honest. No. He has the occasional game where you don't notice him, but that's true of
I think he's just a player that you see more in the ground. I really do, because I love Gini Wijnaldum, but I haven't enjoyed watching him on the telly this season. It's just, he's not been the player that I normally see, because he'll just take 5 minutes and you just won't watch the ball for 5 minutes in the ground. You'll sing and you'll look at other things, and you'll look at how Virgil's marshalling the defence, and you look at where the line is, you look at what Salah's doing over there to try and glean what Liverpool are getting out. You don't get that. You get the director's cut, and only the director's cut on the television. You know what I mean? So you don't see the work. Match of the Day did a brilliant one the other week, didn't they, when they were talking about Jordan Henderson covering for the fullbacks and the work that he does. Insert Gini Wijnaldum into that conversation, into that analysis as well, because he does exactly the same. So every time you see Robbo or Trent Alexander-Arnold bombing on, know that it's not on screen, but there's a reason that he's able to do that for the most part.
Gini Wijnaldum, and also let's not forget, he's been doing a job in 6 for us for the last 4 or 5 games as well, and he's fine. Like Tottenham Hotspur, he was outstanding. Yeah. He was outstanding in that game. And he's been fine since then, but it is also a position where it's very difficult to show off what you do, because he is, let's face it, 3 or 4 inches too short to really be truly good in that position, but he's dead strong. Gini's brilliant in transition, and he's brilliant when he comes alive is in high pressure situations when you're under the cosh and you look to break out. And all of a sudden, Gini Wijnaldum's he's got 2 men on him, and he's free. And he's not just free, but he's tearing down the pitch. And this is like 80 minutes gone when everything's like on an absolute knife edge. He's brilliant. Look, there's a reason why he plays all these games for Jurgen Klopp, and there's a reason why we've bought hundreds of millions of pounds worth of talent to come into that midfield, and they haven't got a sniff off Gini Wijnaldum.
He's still there, mate.
Yeah. And now he's going to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, well, he's a quality player, isn't he? I think we can all agree that. And you're right. He does his best work in holding the ball away from the other team a lot of the time and stuff. And he's not going to show up. And the other thing is as well, there are some defensive midfielders that look amazing because they're throwing slideys in, and maybe not so much nowadays, but a few years ago it was a thing. Intercepting the ball, making sure that they can't play that pass. These are all things that our DMs have been good at over the last sort of couple of years, isn't it? And you don't want your DM to be, and just like the centre-backs, you don't want them sliding in last-ditch tackles. You want them being proactive and winning the ball back, and that's something actually that's come out this week about Thiago, isn't it? I mean, he's winning the ball back more times per game than any other player, and yet all I hear from fans is how crap he is at tackling. Well,
fans.
Yeah. But that's it. Like, you know what I mean? He's winning the ball back more than anyone else on the pitch. Yeah. Pretty much every game he plays.
Thiago Alcantara's playing very much like a man who's you can see what a player he is, and he's getting up to speed with what's required of him for a start, but also the requirements of the league. This is a guy who's played in 3 different midfield positions for us this season already. Yeah. He played left hand side of the 3 against Everton, gets
3
injured.
3 months into his career.
Yeah,
with us.
Absolutely. Having been out for half the season. Now he's playing in the 8 on the right hand side, and he had a handful of games in the 6 as well, when really you're meant to be brought in. He's a specialist. He's been brought in to do a specific job for us, and we haven't really truly seen him do it, and we've certainly not seen him do it alongside the strongest midfield we've got yet. But big game for him tonight. This, I'm not saying that this will be the Premier League is known for its pace. European football should be slightly less that, even though I imagine the intensity will be there just because it's a German team, and I imagine Nagelsmann will want them to be in our faces and cause us problems, etc., etc. But I mean, Thiago's literally just won the European Cup, in the last 6 months or whatever. I'd back him to shine tonight, and it's a good opportunity for someone like Curtis as well, because he's barely put a foot wrong for us this season. And we've actually, the European Cup, in these games, you've watched him grow. I think it was Ajax away when he wasn't great, and I think that was pretty much his worst game for us, and he's been nothing but really impressive since as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how Kurt does in this game. Partly because I think I was a bit annoyed that he got a lack of opportunities over the last sort of month and a half, because I felt like, well, when he was in the midfield with Henderson and Wijnaldum, we were winning games for a start, and then he comes out, and I don't know whether it's rest or we're looking after him, prolonging his career, all that type of stuff. But he seemed to go missing, and so did Liverpool's form. Yeah. And it's not that he was like producing goals and assists, but he's just a tidy player, doesn't give the ball away. Yeah. He adds a bit of cut and thrust to the forward play that we don't seem to have when someone like him's not in there. Ox was able to do that a couple of years ago for us. And he's just a bit more direct than the other three, and he can still do the industrious stuff that you need to be able to do as well with Kurt. He's a good player, man.
Yeah, he's just turned 20 as well, so he's on that path now. This is what you should be seeing from him. And I agree. The reason he's not been playing, there's a couple of reasons. I think it's keeping him fresh. I think it's protecting him, which I think is a bigger conversational point. But also we've got to try and get a couple of the lads up to speed as well. We couldn't just continue to play Henderson, Wijnaldum and him every single game, because they'd have been done. Dead.
It's a shame. And also, we need Hendo at the back.
And also, we lost Joe Matip for the season in that period as well. When we started to stop playing particularly well. But no, this is the thing, the consideration about how Liverpool are run as a business, and particularly with Jurgen Klopp at the helm. They're not just run for this season; they run for next season, the season. Curtis Jones' development, you've got a potential world beater on your hands there, who could go on and play at the top of the game. He's 20 years old. You look, James Milner's still playing in Liverpool's midfield at 35. I know, and he's an exception. He's a rare exception, really. To be able to continue to play at the top level at that stage of your career. But there's Curtis Jones. He could have 500 Liverpool appearances, easy. Yeah. Between now and then. But you've got to manage him.
Right now, I find that an interesting talking point about the Milner stuff, if you don't mind. I actually think right now he is. But I don't think in the future we will be talking like 35-year-olds are dead in footy. No. Because he was just right at the start of when the sports science and everything came in.
But to your point, you've always made, you'd only get X amount of years at the top generally, and you're right, that's being more and more extended, and it will get better and better. But James Milner's still going to be the exception if you've played at the top level for 15, 18 years almost playing.
That's ridiculous, what he's done. But I do think we'll see that gets stretched out. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Ibrahimovic. They're all doing it still at a high level, aren't they?
You have to be a generational ... to do it, because there's plenty that don't. Look at Wayne Rooney. On the flip side of it, it fell off a cliff at 28, 29, because he'd been doing it since he was 16 and what have you. But then the point is that Curtis Jones, there's probably a temptation for a team under pressure, for a young lad of that talent. And look, we fucking ruined Michael Owen. We tried our best to ruin Steven Gerrard. We ruined Fernando Torres. We've ruined loads of lads because we needed them in there. We were desperate to get in there, and we pushed them against the odds or whatever to be in the side. Hopefully Liverpool won't do that, and we just get to see Curtis Jones follow a nice progression of development. Right, we had some super chats. Actually funny, the Wayne Rooney connection. Kate Gordon starts for the under-18s, says Combat Pro BTW. Yeah, very interesting to see what his development's like. Tristan Bauer sent us $2 and then retracted his message. That was good, thank you so much. And there was another one here. Liam Buckland. I'd be happy with an away goal tonight at least. Yeah, that is Liverpool mission number one, is go and get an away goal. If we're able to then either win the game or keep the game within a goal, on a sliding scale of what's a really, really good night and what's an okay night and what's an acceptable night, that's kind of where it falls.
Yeah, I must admit, when we were doing the podcast this morning, and before we'd even done the podcast, I was saying to you, I'm nervous. It's funny, it's gone backwards for me. I'm less nervous now that I've seen the team, and I'm ready for this, and I'm sure the lads will be ready for this game now. What I mean? And we've got to keep it close if they go ahead, but I actually fancy Liverpool to put a couple of goals past them now, and I may even go out on a limb and say we don't concede a goal.
Ooh, wow. No, I've always
And
felt
yet that tie's not dead.
No, God, no. I've been feeling all right about this game, and I think it's just because I'm exactly where I was prior to City. Except with the City one, I knew my strong feeling was City were just a bit further on than us at the moment, but I think we're as good. We're more than capable of winning this game, as we saw with the Leicester. But you've just got to, I don't know, keep your head screwed on. If you do hit a bump in the road, don't let it collapse you. Don't fold in on yourself if you hit a little bit of a snag in the night. But in terms of how we've been playing, we've been playing some good football. It's going to happen eventually. We're going to get back to a decent
just so we don't
reign
use
and
all our
form.
goals up in one game again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the problem with our form over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Jake Foster says nothing. Just wants us to support. Walk alone. Thank you so much, Jake.
Have
for
you
the
seen the Bad
199.
Wolf one?
I've got a couple more here. Kai Johnson says, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Thiago's first Champions League game for us. If so, hoping a massive performance from him. That's probably right. I actually, because anyone can think of an alternative to that one. And Bad Wolf, Paul and Chris, the dynamic duo. Been watching you guys since 2013. Will we see a return of James Redmen to Redmen TV? Also, congrats on Tipping Point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, we're just having James is a young man who doesn't keep a particularly set life time schedule, shall we say? But yeah, no, we love James very, very much. So yeah, we will be getting James back on the channel at some point in the future. I'm certain of it. And yeah, thank you so much. Yes, if you didn't see the podcast or didn't watch Tipping Point on Monday afternoon, a lot of people are probably going, "What's Tipping Point?" It's a late afternoon mainstream TV quiz show, and there was a question about us on there, which was weird. Right, sound. I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the team reaction. We're going to be chatting through a whole host of things and doing a watch along and a commentary and playing through some greatest hits of Liverpool songs as well, having a laugh. And I have bought biscuits just to appease Trig Josh, who's been super chatting for ages, just because we need something. I can only surmise now.
If it was the biscuits.
Yeah, listen, I said this the other day. Jinxes and superstitions, don't get caught doing something that you don't want to have to do every single time Liverpool play. If I have to eat biscuits every time Liverpool play, then my God, so be it, Chris Pajak. That is what I will do for this team. Right, we'll be back. Drop a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel and check back at 7:45, where we'll be back for the game itself. Ta-da. Thank you so much for watching the Redmen TV YouTube channel. Everything we do here is funded by our wonderful subscribers to the redmentv.com. Get over there, sign up and get amazing additional content, interviews, documentaries, mini-series, and of course additional pre and post match day content.